Look, guys, we all know what happens when money comes up at the dinner table. Somebody gets uncomfortable, somebody gets defensive, and the conversation dies. But here's what nobody's talking about: there's actually a way to have these money conversations that brings your family closer together instead of pushing them apart. I'm about to show you 10 conversation starters that will specifically help Black families during the holidays. No judgment, no lectures, just real talk that actually helps anybody. Now, look, y'all, I have to do this quick because it's Thanksgiving in my household. I have my wonderful family in the kitchen. They whipping it up right now. I snuck away to come do this. I told them that I was going to do this today, and they gave me the okay, even though I said it was going to be all about them today. But I had this on my heart. Okay. So I had to come. I wanted to share this. So we're going to do it quick. I got Detroit and Green Bay on the television right now. Good food being made, music in the background. You may hear my family, but listen, I want to do this. We have to create spaces. Look, if you subscribe to this channel, you're all about building wealth, building a legacy, generational wealth. And one of the things that absolutely contributes to that is getting the entire family involved in the conversation. Look, it's not often where we have uninterrupted time with the people we love most. It's not often where we have multiple generations sitting around the dinner table at one moment. It's not often where we have a captivated audience of good energy and love to where we can talk about the things that matter the most in our families. That's why we got to take advantage of the time that we have during this holiday season to talk about money, y'all. And so, yeah, I talked about this the other day. We have generational curses that really exist. You don't know why you do the things that you do, but it came from a previous generation, buying scratch offs for certain family members, cashing that check at the liquor store. I don't even know if you can still do that anymore. I know, like, when I was growing up, that was a thing in my neighborhood, but I know people go to check cashing places in Walmart. There are these generational things that exist that carry through generations, and we don't know where they come from, and we have to break them. One of the ways that we break them is by talking about them and learning to do something better. So I know that for my family, we've literally just gotten to a place where we can talk about money collectively. And I'm going to share some questions right now that are going to help facilitate this conversation at the dinner table, in front of the TV, in the kitchen, or if you got one of those families where the cousins take a little walk every holiday. Y'all know that. If you got that family, you know what I'm talking about. All right. This is the time where you can have these conversations. And look, it's a holiday week. You all know I normally do my free beginners investing classes on Thursdays and Sundays. All right. On Thursdays and Sundays. Well, today is a holiday, so we're not doing it today. So I am going to do a special edition, a Black Friday financial education class to teach families investing. So I want you all to sign in, but I want you to bring somebody that's in your family to be a part of this conversation tomorrow. And we're going to talk about these questions in a little bit more detail. All right. So look, I'm going to kickstart this. We're going to get into our questions. All right. These are the questions that you can present multiple times during the holiday. And I got to do it fast, y'all. That will get your family talking about money in a way that is less defensive, that is empowering, that is designed to build your family legacy. Now, look, I told y'all I'm in here watching a football game right now. So look, you watching a football game, it's a commercial break, if it's halftime, and this really works well when it's a younger person speaking to somebody from that's older, maybe speaking to your uncle, your aunt, maybe speaking to your grandparents. Maybe you're a teenager, you speaking to an older sibling. But look, this is how you present it. You sitting down watching the game, right? You turn to them during the commercial, not during the game. Now, you get during the game, they're gonna get short. We don't need them to be short. We need them to answer the question. All right. So you turn to them, and you be like, auntie, grandma, Dad, whoever it is, you say, what's a financial W you had this year? Big or small? And see, the theme aligns with that moment that you're in. You get them thinking, right? So that's the first one. What's a financial W you had this year, big or small? This is where we get families talking about things that have worked for them. Because something that works for one can work for another, and you're passing down that knowledge. All right, here's my next one. Now, this is definitely one from a younger generation to an older generation. All right. And I think this is good as you're preparing the meal. Maybe after you said your blessing and y'all had the preliminary talk at the dinner table. I like this one. It's what's one money lesson you wish somebody had taught you before you turned 25? So this is for the nieces and nephews and the grandchildren out there to pose to the older generation. All right. What's one money lesson you wish someone had taught you before 25? One of the things that I like about this is it doesn't put the person answering the question in the position of being the expert. It can put them in a vulnerable position to share something that they may not have done correct as an adult, but they wish they could do it better. Here's the thing. We actually learn better from the losses than we learn better from the wins. All right. So I really, really like that question. All right. Let me go to my next one. What's the one thing you want to do next year that requires money? Travel, business, savings, investing. If they need some ideas. So it's what's one thing you want to do next year that involves money? Now, this is the one that can go from an older generation to a younger generation, right? Because this is teaching them to prepare, to think ahead, not to live off of a whim. It can go the opposite direction as well. If somebody from a younger generation wants to figure out how to create a plan for some short-term goal. All right. Here's the next one. Here's the next one. And then this is another one that can go from either younger to older, older to younger, or same age to same age. If you suddenly got an extra $500 a month, what would you do with that? Let me see. This would be, for the cousins that's going on that little walk. All right. For the cousins that have to go make that last minute run to the grocery store. If you got an extra $500 a month, what would you do with it? This can open communication about investing. This can open communications about saving. Okay. This can go anywhere. Okay. This can go in any direction. Where did the extra $500 come from? Okay. I like that one a lot. All right. Here's my next one. Who taught you the most about money, good or bad? What stuck with you? I think this is actually one of the questions that I believe is best asked in a large group. I think we should get multiple answers to this question from every generation, young to old, old to young. I'm going to repeat this one. Who taught you the most about money, good or bad, and what stuck with you? All right. And here's my last one. I got to get back to my family, y'all. My last one. What's a money tradition we should start in this family for the next generation? What's a money tradition we should start in this family for the next generation? This isn't about right. This isn't about wrong. This isn't about wins. It's not about losses. It's not about right, wrong, blame. This is about what we want as a family moving forward. Guys, try one of these questions. Try all of these questions, whatever works best for you. Let's create a different dynamic in our families to where we can talk about money without being defensive, without being ashamed, without being overly boastful, because nobody want to listen to that either. Look, tomorrow, Black Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard, I'm hosting my free beginners investing class. This is the family edition. The link to register is in this video description. Make sure you join. Bring somebody from your family. We're going to go through these questions again and maybe talk about some of the answers that can come out. I'm going to also teach you about how you invest in the stock market as a beginner, as a family. The link is in the channel description. I also have a link to my favorite money management app for families. We're getting to that time of year where people want to start managing their money in a better way. One of the things that's going to be important to help you be able to do that is having the right tools. Sometimes we want to make a change, sometimes we want to do better, but we don't have the right tools to help us do the better that we want. Imagine if you wanted to build a shelf in your home and you didn't have a drill, you didn't have a leveler, you didn't have the right wood, if you don't have the right tools, it's going to be harder to build that thing that you want to build in your house. The same thing goes with your finances. So get the right tools to get you on the path to be that money management expert that you want to be so that you can hit your financial goals going into the new year. Don't wait for the new year to start. Start now. I have a link to my favorite money management app in the description as well. All right. Make sure y'all join tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard. We will pick back up our regular schedule starting on Sundays. Sundays, we do 4 p.m. Eastern Standard. Thursdays, we do 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. Didn't do today because of the holiday. All right, y'all. I got to run. I got to get to my family. They're going to start looking for me. My baby want me to taste some of her food. So I don't cook anything. I do the grocery runs. I take the trash out. I do the heavy lifting. Okay. When they need something tasted, I do the tasting. That's my role in this dinner that's taking place. So I done stepped away from my post and I got to get back to them, y'all. All right. Y'all have a happy Thanksgiving.